My name is Gilles Bisson. I've been a member of the legislature for some 18 to 19 years now. I was first elected up in Cochrane South. The city of Timmins is where I'm from, and I've been re-elected now 5 times. I'm 51 years old. I am married to my wonderful wife Muriel of 32 years, and we have 2 daughters and a new grandson, Nathaniel Gilles, who is now 3 months old as of a couple of days ago. I'm running for the leadership of the party, and I want to tell you why. First of all, I believe that we as Ontarians share a lot in common as citizens. We all share the values of the NDP. We believe in public health care, we believe in education, we believe in the equity issues that we have fought so hard to get, all of us, when it comes to rights for individuals, when it comes to rights for workers, for women, for gays and others, in order to make sure that we respect each other in this society that we call Ontario. However, even though most people support our very values, we don't get the support politically that we would like to get. We tend to get somewhere between 15 to 20% of the vote, depending on the election, except for 1990, which was a wonderful circumstance for me because I got elected despite myself. But that's a whole other story.
So a
whole bunch of others. But here's the important part, my sister Andrea. When the tide was going out, I held on. That was good. But I want to challenge us as New Democrats and ask ourselves a question: why is it, if everybody shares our values, that we don't get more people voting for us? Why is it that your election up in North Bay just recently and the one here, we didn't get the numbers that we should have got in order to elect MPs to the Federal House of Commons? And I think the reason is fairly simple, is that even though Ontarians and Canadians share our values, they don't trust us on the economic issues. They really say, all right, I believe in public health care, how are you going to pay for it? I believe in a good system of education, how are you going to pay for it? And often what they hear from us is, oh, we'll tax the corporations, we'll tax the rich. I want to tell you as leader, I'm not going to do that. For a very simple reason. First of all, those that are rich don't want to be taxed, and the rest of us want to be rich, so we don't want to get taxed if we get there. And when we say tax the rich, quite frankly, it scares people, because they think that they may be rich themselves. And I say as a social democrat, and I'm using that word quite purposely, is that we need to do what other social democrats have done around the world and be serious about the economy. We need to say it. Listen to the words. They're coming from my lips. Wealth is good. We want entrepreneurs to start businesses. We want to grow our economy. We want to encourage people to do better in that economy. But with that newfound wealth comes a responsibility. That if you go out and you start up a business, we need to have laws that protect workers. That we make sure that we have progressive labor laws that allow people to organize with card-based certification. That we make sure that you can't cross scabs across the picket line when there is a strike. We need to make sure that we have laws that protect our environment and say, if you're going to start up a plant in this particular area, here are some rules that you have to follow so that the environment is protected for the years to come. That we say you have a social responsibility back to the community you come from. Because it's important to recognize that globalization is coming upon us. We can't stop globalization, but we can certainly challenge some of the things that are going on out there. And to be able to say, here are some of the things that we think you need to do when you come in and you buy an Inco up in Sudbury, or you start up a new plant in Gravenhurst or Orillia, that you have to give back to your community in some ways, and make sure that you source the materials that you need as much as you can from Ontario, that you hire local workers, that you're serious about training, and you give back to the community what you've taken out. It's all about relevancy. And it's about we as New Democrats saying we need to make sure that people understand that we're not just talking about those issues that are so important to us, which is our public services, but being relevant on a whole bunch of other issues. And I think one of the keys are the economy. I'm going to give you another, and it's the issue of crime. There's a perception out there, real or false, that crime is a bigger issue in our society. And we as New Democrats are afraid to speak out on that. We're afraid that if we speak out on it, we may offend somebody. I say absolutely not. Why should we as social democrats allow the right wing, liberals and conservatives, to dictate what the responses on crime should be? There are people. People end up in crime either as victims or perpetrators due to social economic issues. And these are the very people that we profess as social democrats to care for. So let's, yes, be tough on crime in the sense that the little boy or the little girl breaks the window, they got to come knock at your door and say, I'm sorry. That yes, they got to pay or do something in order to replace that broken window, so that we understand as citizens you have a responsibility. But be tougher on the causes. Open your schools at night where you have organized sports. Clean the arena, as we used to have when we were kids, in front of the school so that kids can congregate in a supervised setting rather than being in a gang. So that we give young people an opportunity to participate in more challenging things to do other than to joining gangs. So my point is, it's about relevancy. We need to speak out on those issues much more forcefully. I want to end at this. The other issue that we need to deal with is where we are as a party. We have a lot to be proud of, but this party's got a huge debt. A lot of ridings around this province have debt as well. And that we need to change the way that we fundraise. We no longer continue doing what we started about 20 years ago, which is all the riding association's dollars raised go to Cecil Street or Richmond Street now, and they issue the receipt from there. We need to go back to what Elections Ontario says, which is you deposit to your bank account at your riding level, you issue the receipt, and as Social Democrats at Provincial Council, we'll decide what share that we give back to the riding associate, back to the party. Because we also understand we need to have a strong central party. Why is that key? You will have a hard time being elected in Nipissing or here if you don't have the dollars to buy signs. You don't have the dollars to hire your own organizer. Not necessarily somebody who's coming from outside, but to have somebody that you might be able to put on staff in your riding half a day a week, maybe that's all you can afford, 2 days a week if you can afford more, so that our candidates are able to find out where the events are, they're able to have a BlackBerry to be in touch with people, that the caucus members are in touch with these people on a regular basis, that we identify candidates early so that those candidates are able to get themselves up and running so when the election comes, it's not just, oh, so who's the candidate again? You'll know who that person is. So I'm asking for your support. I have the experience. I've been in the legislature for 18 years. I've been in government. I know the trials of government and I know the trials of opposition. I've traveled this province from north to south to east to west. I'm fluently bilingual. I understand this province probably more so than most because of that experience. And I have the passion, I have the drive, and I have the ideas, and I ask for your support. Merci.